everyone. My name is Julia Black and welcome to my channel. On here, I'm going to be doing weekly videos with different radio professionals to find out how they became successful in the industry. So subscribe below and follow along for a great series. In this video, I'm going to be going over how I set up these interviews with these radio professionals. I think it's really important to be able to enter in a professional setting and lay the groundwork for a great interview ahead. So follow along in this video. I'm going to do a tutorial and I'm going to teach you guys how to set up one of these interviews. Whenever I find somebody I want to interview, I always send them an email explaining who I am, what my project is, and I ask them if there's ever a time where they would be willing to Zoom with me. Once we establish a time when we can Zoom, I set up the Zoom and I send them the invitation link and my question list ahead of time. By sending the question list ahead of time, it gives them the comfort to be able to prepare their answers. They know exactly what I'm going to ask them, and they're able to formulate their answers instead of being put on the spot. To prep for these interviews, I make sure that I go on LinkedIn, I go and I do a Google search, and I know exactly who I'm interviewing. I know where they went to college. I know what position they currently hold. I know what position they held as their first job. That way, I'm not asking any questions that are obvious or that I should have known in my research. That really makes them value the interview so much more because they know that I put in the work before we even got started. So first, I just like to do a little intro, introduce myself, say what my assignment is, what my project is, and then I always like to outline to them how the interview is going to go. I give them the first couple questions as an example, and I tell them kind of how I want them to phrase back the questions. I then tell them that with their permission, I will start the recording then. That gives them the trust in me that I haven't recorded anything before this. I'm not going to record anything after I tell them I stop it. It kind of builds that trust from the beginning. Next, I just ask them if they have any questions before we get started, and I address those, and then we get started with my questions. After we get through all of my questions, then I like to wrap up with a nice, genuine thank you. These people don't have to give me their time, but they are all so willing to sit down with me for 45 minutes to an hour to answer any questions that I have. So I really want to show them my appreciation. After I get off the Zoom, I always make sure to either that day or the very next day send them a thank you follow-up email explaining thank you so much for your time. Again, I really appreciate your generosity with your time and your willingness to meet with me. And then just for another point of contact, I also like to send them a handwritten letter in the mail, again, expressing my gratitude. And I think that handwritten letters are so rare in this day that that's something that they're really going to remember. So I always like to send one of those as well. It might seem like overkill, but it's really not. They really, really appreciate these letters. Like I said, next week we'll have our first video with some great radio professionals telling us exactly how they became successful. You do not want to miss it. So hit that subscribe button down below right now. And I look forward to seeing you guys all next week. Bye.